All right, yo, what's good, boys? Okay, so today we are doing a settings video, settings guide, settings tutorial, whatever you want to call it, mostly optimized for performance, frames and whatnot. So yeah, I'm also going to be sharing my keybinds and things like that. So let's just go ahead and get into it. Okay, gameplay settings. Starting off with use enemy team colors, definitely have that on. All it does is tell you who you're fighting. So if you're fighting purple or red or pink, orange, definitely have that on, more for awareness. Hide player names, I would have that off. Region, set it to your region. It's not too complicated. There is an auto setting, but I wouldn't use that. I would use your actual region. My crosshair, mine is just a green crosshair with the center dot. You can turn center dot on or off, but I would prefer to have it on, just for accuracy. I like to hit fire. So moving on to keyboard and mouse settings, we have my sensitivity, which is 40. Mouse zoom sensitivity multiplier, have it at 100. So your sense can be 1:1, whether it's zoomed in or hip fire. Now mouse focal length sensitivity scaling, you can have this on or off. Turning it on will make your ADS sense slower than your actual hip fire sense. And turning it off will have it 1:1, so it's completely consistent. Use that however you'd like, but I prefer consistency, so I have mine off. Mouse invert vertical look input, I don't know why you would ever turn this on. Keep it off. Moving on to keybinds, we have the regular WASD, jump is on spacebar, E to interact, primary left click, secondary right click. Sprint, I use toggle because you do a lot of sprinting in this game, so you might as well have it on toggle. Specialization is on Q, reload R, of course. My ping is on G. Normally it's on middle mouse button, but I play Overwatch and mine is set to G in Overwatch, so I use G in the finals. My melee is on one of my mouse buttons. My crouch is on left shift. I use hold when I aim down sight using right click. I inspect with my what do you call this, my front mouse button. So my melee is on my back mouse button and my inspect is on my front when I want to show off my weapon. Emote on H, expressions are on T. I don't really use next or previous item, but if I ever do, I can just scroll. Now going on to these settings, the weapon and the gadget settings. I use C to switch to my weapon. I use 2 for gadget 1. I use X for gadget 2 and Z for gadget 3. Now I know that might be a little weird to some people because most people just use the defaults, but I've found that this works best for me. I don't really like reaching for the numbers. I know they're not that far, but it's more consistent for me. Scoreboard on tab. I actually don't have push to talk bound, but I don't really talk in game chat, so I don't really need to. Social, P, toggle voice chat on K, if I ever want to talk. Change loadout on J. I respawn with spacebar. I pick up objects with F. Menu escape, communication wheel is on B, and I don't have an equipment wheel at all. Moving on to accessibility, we have the colorblind mode. I have mine on default, but I see a lot of people using Tritanopia. Tritanopia looks pretty cool. I tried it, but I just prefer the default. Subtitles I have off. I don't really see a reason to have them on, but do whatever you want. Motion blur, turn that shit off. Turn that shit off. I think I already talked about my crosshair settings on the gameplay tab. So moving on to audio. Not much to talk about here. Audio settings, set it to whatever you prefer. I prefer to have my music off. I'm usually playing my own music when streaming, and when playing the game alone, so I really don't see a need for music. It just kind of gets in the way. Sound effects, I have them on 15. I know they're important, but this game is also really loud, so 15 is still good for me. Dialogue is on 30. They actually give really good call outs, the announcers, whenever they're talking, so make sure you pay attention to that in game. So I definitely have that turned up. Not much to talk about here. Output, voice chat. I mean, set it to whatever you prefer and whatever's good for you. We can go ahead and move on to video. Now, video settings, these are the important ones. Now, while recording, I'm getting less FPS than I usually get. I'm usually sitting around 180. It can bounce around depending on what's happening on screen, but maybe like 144 to 180 depending on what's happening. But I would use window mode, a full screen, resolution, set it to your monitor's resolution. So mine is 1920 by 1080. VSync, turn that shit off unless you want input lag. NVIDIA Reflex low latency, I have mine on, but if you want to use on plus boost, you can. It just depends on your system. For some people, on runs better for them FPS wise, and for other people, on plus boost runs better. So pick whatever is good for your system. I have mine on usually. Resolution scaling method, I use TAAU because it looks the clearest, and I have that resolution scale on 60. Whenever you choose the setting, it has this option to choose the resolution scale, and 60 gives me the best performance while also looking the cleanest. If you don't want to use that, you can use NVIDIA DLSS set to quality, and it pretty much gives the same effect. But I don't know, I feel like TAAU just looks better, but do whatever you want. Do whatever is best for your system, but TAAU is my go-to. Graphics, field of view, turn that shit to the max. There's a lot that happens in the finals, so to make sure you can keep up with all of it, I have my field of view up all the way so I can see everything. Motion blur, turn that shit off. Lens distortion, turn that shit off. NVIDIA RTX global illumination, set it to static. That will usually give most people the best performance, so set that shit to static. And quality, go ahead and set everything to low. You can crank up the texture to max because that really doesn't affect anything performance wise, but I just have mine on medium. You can also crank up the view distance if your system can handle it, but I don't really see a need, so I have mine on low. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe. Check me out on Twitch. I'm usually streaming the finals every day. I'm currently grinding my way to diamond. So, you know, if you want to join me on that journey, go ahead and follow me on Twitch. Link is in the description. But all right, appreciate y'all for watching. Thank you and goodbye.